Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Coven. We have an amazing guest tonight. I'm really, really excited. We've been trying to do this. I know I told you guys that the last time we tried to do this, I ended up getting a migraine. And if any of you get those, you know how insanely
Yeah.
and debilitating those are. So, and then Ashley had a little thing today, but we are here. Bless you.
Thank you.
We are here. We are here, and I'm super excited. So, Ashley, I would like if you would introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you so much, Siren. Hi, everyone. My mundane name is Ashley, and my online name is Pythian Priestess. I am an initiated Hermetic priestess, and I am so happy to be here. I never thought in my life that I would be able to be honest and open about my spiritual practice with the world, especially because I grew up in the South, and that is something that you just you don't talk about.
No.
Yeah.
Bible Belt is definitely different than growing up in California.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to live in Los Angeles. Like living here, I get to work in an occult store where I do tarot readings, I do some energy cleansings, I teach, and I'm really, really amazed at how much people have become interested in magic.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm older,
Mhm.
and being in this realm for, 36 years, 37 years now.
Wow.
The fact that it is so much more open and people can really be themselves and show their spirituality without, and yes, there is still, I'm not saying it there, it's not completely without people making judgment,
Sure.
but it's much better now, I would say, than even 20 years ago.
Absolutely. It's opened up. I think, we definitely saw a couple things. One, social media.
True.
And then two, the pandemic. Everyone spent time inside and they started self-reflecting.
That's, oh my gosh, that's so funny that you say that, because I completely think that, in a sense, I don't want to say that's the only reason, but in a sense, the pandemic kind of happened to make people come back and reflect, go
Mm,
inside, really find themselves and find their spirituality, because you had to. There was nothing people could do. You couldn't
nope.
go to the store. You couldn't, like,
The
distract
external world was gone. It was
right.
only the internal.
You couldn't distract yourself.
I could only watch so much reality TV.
That's so true. But I think it was a good thing. I mean, yes, I'm not saying the whole thing was a good thing, but obviously loss of people in that is terrible.
Mhm.
I would not want that again. But the fact that people had to go inside and had to really find themselves, I think that was a good part of it.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the outcome of a horrific event turned out to be, in a lot of ways, for this particular
Yeah.
section, positive. So I have the opportunity. I became internet popular, famous, whatever you want to call it. I have been so blessed to work with YouTubers like Sam and Colby and go with them to the Conjuring House. I cleanse them. I use a spirit board on that property. And I'm hoping to do more of that kind of work in the upcoming year and start showing people, especially in the ghost hunting and paranormal community, that there's a level to this too, where it's not just like, ooh, spooky, scary thing, but there's a cosmology behind it. There's another level too of consciousness that we have to expand and explore. So no more it's like, ooh, is it spooky? Like this is real, this exists. Now it's, oh, this is also affecting me. How do I work with that?
I saw that, and I was like, it's giving me goosebumps. That I think a lot, like you said, a lot of people think, oh, it's just, oh, it's spooky, it's scary, that's cool. But they don't have the realization that you have to cleanse yourself and you have to protect yourself when you do things like that, because it can be
Yes.
dangerous, honestly.
Yeah, it can be so dangerous. It can really, um, attach. When I did that ritual on the brunette on Colby, my obsidian malachite dagger broke, clear in half. And that's absorbing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
And I was just like, okay,
you're all,
so all right. Thank God and Goddess that I
yeah.
brought a second dagger. And I was like, hey, this selenite dagger, you're gonna give me that now, and I'm gonna finish the job here. But like to find like those kinds of chords and stuff, like when you go into a space constantly that has either heightened heavy energy, some people call it dark energy, whatever it is, when you invite that stuff in and you don't know how to clean yourself, spiritual hygiene, your life can get very, very icky.
Yeah. No. And then, I mean, you said it right there, spiritual hygiene. So
Mhm.
important. And I think a lot of the newcomers, a lot of people who are just into the ooh, it's scary kind of thing, don't realize that that is so truly important because it will affect everything in your life and the people around you.
Absolutely. It affects everything. And so I think that like as a society, that's been popular for about 10 to 15 years.
Hmm.
We're coming into a new wave. And for people who are curious, like I spent that time during the pandemic and I built Pythian Mystery School. So like newsflash, I was a huge nerd. I
Girl, there is nothing wrong with that. I
yeah,
think I think that the best people in life are big nerds. I mean,
all these
I'd
books.
rather
Oh,
have a conversation with someone who is a quote unquote big nerd because you can have real conversation
yeah.
as opposed to someone who's just obsessed with pop culture.
Yeah, yeah, like, the pop culture stuff, I know about it, I see it, but, like, I'm also really in love with the world and the story of the world and, like, why things work, like, how do I, as a spirit, experience the world? Like, and when you dive into metaphysics, there's such an array, and
Oh,
s yeah,
you can keep going and keep going and keep going.
yeah. And, you will find a place like some people, everyone will dive at a different level into spirituality. So sometimes, some people are okay with just staying at the crystal level, and that works for them. Some people want to do the spell level. Some people want to do deity work. Some people want to do ceremonial magic. And it's completely acceptable for you. Whatever you want to do, wherever you want to dive, and you can change if you want to.
I was just gonna say, and that can go, that can move. You
It's
know,
a flow.
it's where you are in this lifetime.
And what you're learning.
Yeah.
And because your soul has things that it wants to learn so it can evolve and grow. And there are people like me who, it's really not about me. It's about the goddess.
Yeah.
So I am a priestess of Aset, Isis, Iset, many names, goddess of 10,000 names. And I am here to help people find and nurture their spiritual paths. And I knew this from when the time that I, like, had an idea of, like, what I was gonna do in my life was around 21, when I was in undergrad and I learned about Plato's The Cave, his allegory, where he talks about, there's a man who is chained in a cave. He cannot move his head to side, he can't do anything, he can only look forward, and on this wall, he sees shadows, blurry things are moving around. And one day he breaks free and he climbs out of the cave and sees the sun for the first time. And he's blinded by it because it is so bright and so intense. And he actually has to cover his eyes for, I think it's 3 days. And he has a hard time looking at his reflection in the water. And he is so overcome with joy and understanding and knowledge of the real world that he says, I have to go tell my friends down in the cave. So he goes back down into the cave, and I guess some people broke free during that time because they got mad at him when he told them about the true things above, and they killed him. They stabbed him,
Oh,
and the lesson was you never go out of the cave. So my question was, as a philosophy major, was, well, who's making the shadows and fanning the flames to make the false images? And that's when I was like, okay, I understand how this world works. I want to go be a good flamer And I want to share the true knowledge, the true story, so people will not be so afraid of going back out of the cave and understanding the true knowledge of things.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Girl, you gave me goosebumps. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Because I truly think, and you know, as I always say, you guys, my thoughts are, we choose to come back
Mhm.
for a reason. Everyone has a reason that they've chosen to come back. And I personally think that it's to share your gift, whatever
Okay.
your gift is. You know, and that could be through art or through teaching or through compassion. We make a choice to come back to share our gift and to learn, right?
Mhm.
So right there, you found your gift.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's beautiful. And that it takes some people a whole lifetime to find what their gift is to give back. So I think that's awesome. Like that you found that and now you know what you need to do.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even like I think it's so important that it's like the gift that I was given from the goddess too. Like I everything that I share knowledge-wise, like I am giving you this information and then I want you to like realize that that information is not really coming from me. Like I have sources and all that good information. Um and my own personal knowledge, but it's also like the goddess and always going back to source and putting, because I think that's where a lot of people get hung up sometimes in spirituality is like the ego grows when you
Yeah.
get all this gratitude and like you're like, oh wow, I changed this person's life. Like I must be great. It's not me. It's not about me. It's never was about me. It's about her.
Oh my gosh, you're preaching to the choir, girl. I feel
Yeah,
it.
you get it. You've been around it. You
I
know, you've
feel it.
seen it.
Again, you're giving me goosebumps, which always for me is that because
Thank
I've
you.
had that experience where people, oh, you know, you made such a difference. And I was like, it's not for me.
Mhm.
It's my goddess that I have worked with for years. And I made a, I don't want to say pact, that sounds really creepy.
It sounds dark, right? But you made a
Right.
promise or you
I made
made
a
like a
promise.
covenant.
I
There's
made
lots of words.
I made a whatever with her. Pact sounds dark. I don't want to say pact. Because it wasn't that. It was one of those, this is what you're supposed to do. And when I'm giving things and when I'm talking, when I'm doing like my morning talks to people and,
Mhm.
you know, my little videos, that's been all sent to me from her. Says,
Mm.
you need to say this. This someone needs to hear this. You need to talk about this today.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Mm.
And so I get it. I get it. It's I'm just I'm just a mouthpiece.
Yeah, you're the mouthpiece. That's exactly what being a priestess is you are the handmaiden, you are the servant, you're the mouthpiece for her.
Yeah. It really has
Yeah.
nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it's not really about me. Also, I am not the goddess. That's the
Oh,
other thing. Nope, I'm not her. I there's a piece of her that lives in me, but I am Ashley
yeah.
here.
Oh, I so get you. Oh, I get it. I so get it. I so get
Yeah,
it. So, okay, so on that note, tell us a little bit about your mentorship
absolutely.
that you were doing. I think this is really, really amazing. I'd like to for you to share it with everybody.
Absolutely.
Well,
Can I share my screen with you?
yes.
Cool. Let me go over here. So am going to make sure that I have it pulled up correctly. So it is an app, and you have several different options when you are joining because everyone's at a different level.
True.
And I wanted to, if I put everything together, it'd be like a 3-year thing. Like,
It's a
like
lifetime thing. Yeah.
oh, what's the long time? Okay. And it says, I want to share my classroom. Here we go. So here we are. This is the online desktop version of the app. It's pythianmysteryschool.passion.io.
There we go.
Yep. And so, hello. And so as we scroll down, the first things that we're talking about here is the apprenticeship. So this is for people who are learning the basics. Like we're working on the fundamentals. How do I build an altar? How do I connect to my spirit? What is intuition? How do I connect to it? And each lesson has a mystical classroom, which is between 10 minutes and 30 minutes long, pre-recorded class with subtitles, graphics, and then an hour-long live teaching grimoire or a lecture style class. And there will also be events too. So this one, for example, has like the downloadable spell scroll as well as reading recommendations. Yeah. So I am here to teach, like, again, for this one is really the basic fundamentals. What is divination? How do I do it?
But
How do I make
this is
basic spells?
very in depth, girl. This is very in depth. This is
Thank
really
you.
teaching. Like this isn't just, oh, here's like two little Zoom things. This is really in depth.
Yep. And I wanted it to be because this is the stuff that I wish I had had. This is like my lifetime of knowledge, research, books, all put into, I think there's 5 sections here. So there's the fundamentals, of course, fundamentals, divination, spell work, protection magic, and then the wheel of the year. So that's your basic. This takes about 1 year to complete, 9 months exactly if you did it like every week. So that's the basic stuff. If you wanted to do more advanced work, we would hop into the advanced apprenticeship. Now, this does take what in covens call a year and a day. It includes multiple modules: the deity work, energy work, magical theory, spirit communication, spell crafting, and spell types. The purpose of this apprenticeship is to help you be able to craft your own spells, know all of the different types of spells that you're crafting.
Oh yeah, I mean you have got like everything here, girl.
Yeah, I try to make it as comprehensive with all the things that I'm also interested in, which includes magical theory. I know a lot of people don't care about this, but this is my big nerd again.
I love the theory. I nerd out
Right?
on the theory.
It's so
Love
cool to understand
it.
how it works.
And the psychology of ritual.
Yes, this is my favorite class. So I offer all of this in this very large package. And if you're maybe not into like being a witch, but you want to understand how to protect your energy, especially for the paranormal people, for the people who are ghost hunting, I really recommend the Empath Protection Toolkit, because this is teaching you how your energetic field works, how you create cords wherever you go, how to cut those cords, how to clean the cords, because you don't need to cut every cord.
No, but you need, yeah. Well, that is even good. I would say, and this is, again, just me talking. That's for everybody. I think a lot of the anxieties that people have today, right, is because we don't understand that every person you come in, you interact with, if you don't have that protection and you don't have a lens, you're picking up on their energies.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that people don't really understand that. And then that translates into anxiety and into depression. And if
it's even more like it's
everybody cleanse that and like keep your boundaries up.
It's everyone. It's the person who, all right, let's say this. You create an energy cord with everyone that you meet, whether it's the cashier at the grocery store or the person you're having sex with.
Right.
And there's different varying degrees of cords. And if you have too many cords sticking out of you, your energy gets drained.
Yes.
Yeah. And you get an influx. Those cords are a highway. You give energy and you receive it.
Completely. Down to I always like to tell people, the person that just made your coffee that you're drinking.
Oh yeah. Their energy goes into it. Totally.
Their energy goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like to make our own food here. I like to make my own coffee. And I'm very, like, when people are like, oh, let's go to dinner. Then it seems weird, but I get kind of like,
yeah, I can understand that.
Maybe not, because I can pick up on that, and I don't need that right now. Like, I'm not in that space. So
I get it. I when you get really sensitive to stuff like that, I remember I was out with my boyfriend, and we stopped it was like on the side of a road, a taco truck and we got tamales. And he's like, this is the best tamale I've ever had. And he said, there's nothing special about this tamale. It is made just like all the other tamales, but whoever made it with so much love that I feel nourished in my soul.
Yes.
I was like, that is so deep, dude. Oh my God. Blessed tamales. But you can bless food. Kitchen witchery is a thing. Healing with food is a thing.
That's so funny that you say that, because my husband always says, like when I make dinner or make his lunch or whatever, he's like, did you make this with love? Because I'm going to know if you made it with love. Are you mad? I'm like, I'm not mad at you right now. Okay. I made it with love. Stop.
Wow. That's so cool that he like feels that.
Oh, fully. Yeah. He'll be like, I don't think you made this with love, Jill. I'm like, I did. Just
Oh,
but that's cute. That's super cute. So, what is the website? I know we put it up there, but let's say it, and then we'll definitely link it in the notes stuff.
So you will download the app. It's Pythian Mystery School. If you want to go to the website version, it's pythianmysteryschool.passion.io. Now, what I do recommend is that I want to like talk to people. Like I don't just mentor anybody because it's important. I have boundaries. I have a specific type of student that I want to work with, someone who is going to do the work, someone who is ready to receive this kind of information. And it's an interview process, and I walk you through all the options and like what works for you. What are you, because like there's so many ways that I can help you, and I don't want to just throw you into a class and say, here, good luck. We need to talk about this. Like this is a mentor-mentee relationship is personal, and it's not the kind of personal where like you're going to tell me all your bad days and all the bad things that happen. It's I'm here to help you spiritually grow. But
you're exchanging energy.
Yes.
And it has to be the right person. That's totally understandable. And that's actually like, I think the smarter way, because you are exchanging energy. Like anybody that's just like, oh, I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way.
Yeah. You have to, as a teacher, when you speak to somebody, you hear them, you hear where they are in their feelings, you understand where they are mentally, and you say, okay, this is how I can help you, because people have forgotten that the occult can actually make you insane. And that's why we're seeing a lot of spiritual psychosis. We're seeing mental health issues. And that is something that is very real. And I have a very firm boundary when it comes to this. Like you have to be ready to be able to reality check yourself. You need to be able to have a discerning mind. And, that's not for everybody.
Oh yeah, no, in my years, I have watched quite a few people who were not ready dive in, go into places they were not ready to handle. They were mentally not ready to handle, and they never came back.
You don't. It's your brain kind of gets scrambled a little bit. So
it's sad, but I completely where you were coming from with that. Oh my God. We have stories. We could do a whole episode on that. Yeah. So on all of that, and you were doing a podcast.
Yes, the Occult Unveiled. Mm-hmm.
Which is you still have some episodes up on YouTube and like
out everywhere.
Out in the podcast world. So that's definitely something you guys want to check out too. Yeah, I'm all out in the podcast world. Definitely check them out because they're really, really awesome. And we had discussed a little bit about that it's very draining. It takes a lot of you, a lot of research, a lot of your own energy that you put out.
Yep. And there's also like when we were doing this work, we were still in that pandemic COVID world. And we've created 60 beautiful, knowledgeable episodes that are free for everyone.
Amazing.
Where we talk to practitioners from around the world, from Haitian voodoo practitioners, to people who practice brujeria, people who live in the Welsh Islands. And
sorry, I just got to say that. I loved that one.
I love Mara.
I love her.
Yeah. She's a delightful person. And we talk to all these people about different facets of magic. We talked about even dark stuff, Satanism, Luciferianism, vampirism. I wanted to give a platform for everyone to share their story, share their knowledge of their practice, because there's a huge misconception in Hollywood, and there's a huge misconception, I think, just among lay people,
Yeah.
that this is evil, that what I'm doing is nefarious and cruel, but it's not. And to understand the levels of magic, that it doesn't have to be this evil self-serving thing, that there's connection and beauty to the divine here, that let's, from a non-judgmental place, let's look real deep into this. And like I said, I am so grateful for having been able to make that podcast. I received amazing messages from fans who, especially parents, who would say, I'm so grateful I found this because my son is interested in this and I don't understand. And your podcast offers valuable information to make it accessible to me so I can understand.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. And I love the fact that you did that. You included so many different facets, so many different types of spirituality, and there was no judgment.
No.
None.
None.
Hey, this is what works for you, but let's let the world know what it's about, that it's not, you're not killing babies. You're sacrificing things. Because we still have those people out there that think that,
the stereotypes are real.
It is.
And that everyone has the capability to be evil. Every human being, whether you are Christian, Catholic, pagan, whatever, whether you are any color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
But what matters is, where are your values? And there's this idea that witches are valueless, and that's not true.
Which, okay, makes me crazy.
Totally.
That whole idea, like, that we are valueless, that we're out to make people like
hurt
someone else, or curse everybody. Like, if you actually look at what is quote unquote witches or magic, whatever you want to say,
whatever you want to call it.
They do magic. They don't call themselves a witch, or they call themselves a witch and they don't do magic. Whatever it is, the whole thing is knowing yourself and knowing your energies and learning more about the energy and your spirituality. And I'm not saying there aren't bad people out there. There are, like you just said, there are bad, evil people in everything.
Everything.
And, whatever color you are, whatever religion you are, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Every human being has a capacity for evil.
Yes.
And some of us who take spirituality as a lifestyle choose to make better ethical choices. And that's hard. It is hard to be a virtuous, good person.
It's not life.
Because some people who want to throw the curses, and that's fine. You can do whatever you want. That's your choice. That's your energy. But for me personally, I don't do that kind of stuff. Not because I'm afraid of it, but honestly, I don't have time or the energy. I'm not angry and petty enough to want to get revenge on you. That's not me, and that's not what I teach either.
No, again, girl, we totally align, totally. Yeah, and if you want to do that, that's your business. I'm not here to judge anybody.
Yeah, do what you want.
I don't got the time for it. I don't got the energy for it. I need to put it into other things.
Yeah, I put, my energy. People are like, oh, what does Pythian do on her free time? What is she doing? I'm reading. I'm writing. And I paint. I read, write, paint, do magic. That's it. I'm a very introverted person. I do the extroverted stuff. I can be an ambivert sometimes, but I think when you really do live a spiritual lifestyle, you realize that your bubble shrinks a lot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And you might not have as many friends. And if you're still feeling lonely like that, even when you're living a spiritual lifestyle, it's because you're not really doing the connection. You're not finding wholeness within yourself and in your practice. And that only comes by doing it over and over again. You don't do it one time and you're like, I'm enlightened.
No. I say it all the time. It is constant. It's constant work. You do it every day. You do it every single day, every minute of the day. You live it.
Yeah.
It isn't something that I'm like, oh, okay, let's go do a ritual and then go about life. It's it's your life.
Yeah,
It's
it's
everything you do.
the Christians have this saying that I remember from the South is that religion is something more than what you do once a week on Sundays. And that's how I feel about like spirituality.
It is. It's how you live. And I think that's the the best thing that you can teach people is it's just how you live.
Yeah.
You live it on a daily, whether it's you put your intention into your coffee or your tea in the morning,
Mhm.
you say your affirmations, you walk outside and you look up and you thank the sun.
Oh, yes.
You feel the earth. It's a
Mm.
constant. It's a constant. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go light a candle and then forget
You
about
Yeah, I think that it's when you get to that level where you start recognizing yourself as a spiritual being. Oh, I look like this broke. And you're not just and you're not just living a normal day-to-day life. It's so much more than that.
it. Yeah.
And it's not all the time. Like I do fall out of it too. I think, everyone does it. It's a little bit. And then you go back into it. Like that's natural. And the point is that you're always going back to it because once you open that door, it's really hard to go back to a mundane life.
It's so hard. It's it's so hard because it's like you could you can try and choose to go back and lead an easier life and mundane life, much easier than doing all the self-reflection and all of the work and
The hard stuff.
the hard stuff, the shadow work, the
Yeah.
constant. You could totally try to go back, but you keep getting pulled. Like it doesn't once you stepped in, you can't really go back, I don't think completely.
Yeah, it's the idea that that energy, that connection to the divine, it feeds you, it nourishes you in a way that you can't get from regular pleasures, drinking, alcohol, doing drugs. Those things, like it will never fill that hole.
Yeah.
And the only thing that can is spirit and that connection, whatever you want to call it, whether it's your ancestors, whether it's a god or a goddess or your spirit guide, someone who is there to help elevate your consciousness so you're not just focused on what's my next meal, when's the next party, who's the next person I'm going to hook up with kind of deal.
Oh, I complete. Oh my gosh, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so we did want to talk tonight.
Yeah.
But we had great conversation. Um, which I love because I love when it just goes like this, it just flows and it just flows and things need to come up and things need to be talked about. We did want to talk about the aesthetic
Oh, totally. Yes.
and put out because of social media, which has
Mhm.
been a great, I think, a great tool in letting people know that there are other spiritualities out there. There's
Yeah.
other ways that they connect, and really making it more accessible in a lot of ways. But that whole talk about the whole aesthetic, quote unquote, is that you have to have a certain aesthetic to be achieving spirituality and magic. I'll let you go first
Thank
because I'm
you.
like, ooh, we could be here for a
A
really long.
long time.
Yeah.
Here's here's the real deal. It doesn't matter if your rituals cost you $5 or $5,000, you're probably gonna get the same result. So we'll start with that. Um,
Exactly.
m magic doesn't come from the tools. They're certainly helpful. When we do the crystal work or we have the candles, those are great tools for our unconscious mind and to boost some energy. But ultimately, that's coming from your will.
Yes.
That's coming from your, people call it intention now, but it's more than that. It's will with a capital W. And that is the force that you are putting out to create something.
I,
So go ahead.
oh no, sorry. I always say it's your energy. You
It
you
is your energy.
you can have a leaf that you pick up off the ground, and if it's your energy you put into it,
It'll be a talisman.
yes, it's your energy. Yes, they will help. They're
Mhm.
there to help, but ultimately, it's all about your energy that you're putting in.
Yep, and I think we were seeing this influx from social media. We're seeing because social media is about heightening things. It's about bringing an aesthetic perspective, an unattainable perspective, and people are sick of it. People are sick of wealth being flaunted in their faces. People are tired of feeling like they can't achieve that or do enough. And besides witchcraft, especially when we look at traditions of marginalized people, they did magic without those tools. They used what they had, sticks and stones.
I did a question and answer with subscribers last week, and I literally said, because someone was like, well, like, you know, what should I have? What are certain herbs I should have? What are certain crystals I should have? And I was like, you really don't need anything. You need you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you can get that stuff, and you can put your intent in it. I'm like, but you can do it with a birthday candle.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You don't need that big ritual candle that everyone's saying, oh, this is $200 and it's beautiful and it's going to do all of this for you. Like, you don't have to have that. You can literally do it with a birthday candle or a votive from the 99-cent store.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be this like mass consumerism and materialism have no place in spirituality.
Agreed.
Yeah, period. Yeah. And I teach you how to do things like that. How do I use my own energy? If I want to make tools, how do I make the tools? You can make them on a budget. You
Yeah,
don't have to go above and beyond. You're welcome to. If you have that kind of expendable income, that's amazing. But I understand why people are feeling frustrated when they're seeing these incredibly lavish and extravagant rituals and thinking that, oh, wow, my birthday candle and my herbs from the dollar store aren't good enough.
right. But and don't get me wrong, it's the aesthetic and the visual. Yes, it's beautiful, and I do appreciate that because that takes a lot of work, and I do appreciate it. But and I'm not discounting, but is that real magic?
It's magic. This is what I think about. It's displaced energy. I think I was trained as a with a master's in fine arts for writing and producing television.
Okay.
So I know what it takes to create something like that. That is you have hours of prep. You have if you're videoing it, you need to have camera angles, you need to have lighting. You need to be thinking about a lot of other things, and my intention is not going to the ritual as much anymore because I'm directing now, I'm producing, I'm not so much doing the work. Um I know that some people even go to a further extreme and say that you shouldn't video your spells at all because it's also taking that energy and showing it to other people when it hasn't manifested yet. So there's levels to this.
Right. Totally get that. Totally get that. But I think I I would hope what we can tell people is that you can look at those things and think, wow, that's beautiful. And love the aesthetic. And I'm not taking away from that. You can love the aesthetic. You can think that's a very beautiful image or very beautiful um, video.
Mhm.
But your magic doesn't have to look like that to be magic.
No, absolutely not. Your magic will look like your magic. Here's our co-host,
Yes.
Euphrates.
He's like, I'm come over here to help. I'm gonna help you.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you can afford, the goddess does not care if
No.
she doesn't care. Like, it's so great that if you grew your own herbs in your special herb garden, that's great. I'm glad that you can do that and you have the time. And you know what? For some of us who live in major cities like Los Angeles, I'm definitely going to the dollar store and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go pick up herbs for $1.50.
And why not? That is available to us now. And that is one great thing about modern convenience is that we don't have to grow everything. I am very blessed that we have a ginormous backyard and I grow a ton of stuff.
So cool.
But not everyone has that
That
luxury. And
possibility, yeah.
but trust me, like I still I want more area so I can grow more things. It's because I can't grow everything. You know, I mean, we have a yard. It's a great big yard, but I can't grow everything. But use that modern convenience and go to the dollar store. There's nothing wrong with it. There's candles everywhere. You can put your intent in it, your will, your energy, because that's where the magic is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that gets lost in translation when
Agree.
you're looking at Instagram.
Girl, trust me, like I see some of those, I'm like, that is so beautiful.
It's so pretty.
Wow. And like I get all, and then I go into my lair where I make my candles and incense and do all of my stuff. And I'm like, and I've got jewelry over here, and I've got resin over here, and I've got, you know, my like this wall has all of, you know, my herbs and stuff. And I'm like, this is just like, this isn't pretty. Like I love it. The energy is amazing. And I love being in there and working in there. But you look at those other people and like, even I sometimes get like,
I'm
man,
frustrated.
yeah, like my stuff doesn't look like that. You know, it's like,
Yeah, and I think that's where, social media does cause some problems when it comes to how we perceive magic and how we socially compare. And
yeah,
when you lose faith in your magic, that's not gonna work.
uh,
It's not. Look, magic, it can work in a lot of very intense situations. Even when you are like have barely nothing, you can still do magic with dirt, with salt. And even if you have nothing, you can use your energy. And don't don't ever think just because you can't achieve this dream aesthetic that your magic isn't important.
and it's not powerful.
Yeah.
You can, for me, most powerful workings standing on the beach at night with literally nothing but some stones I found on the beach and some driftwood.
Cool.
You know, and there was nothing else involved except me, the ocean, the sand, and some rocks.
Yep. And it all comes back to what you said at the beginning. The tools don't matter because you are magic. You
Yeah,
can have all the tools in the world, but really it's about what you're putting into it. A wand doesn't work unless you put something through it to manifest.
exactly. Exactly. You can have a $5,000 wand with all of the crystals and in gold and everything. But if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your own power and you don't know how to use your own power, it's just real pretty.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And there are some people who are just into the aesthetic for the aesthetic. Okay, cool. That's
yeah,
fine.
that's your thing. That's your thing. You know, but if you really want to do the work, you don't really need
Yeah,
anything. Oh,
it's very easy to get frustrated and intimidated by it.
yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people do feel that intimidation, especially first coming in.
Uh-huh.
You know, they see all these beautiful things and oh, they've got, you know, this ginormous crystal and they've got like every tool you could want, you know, and this beautiful altar that's huge, takes up the room. And it can be very intimidating where like, oh, I can't do that. So I shouldn't go forward in my spirituality. I shouldn't go forward in magic. Just do it.
Yeah. And that's like I think that's what's so great about the age we live in. We live in the most amazing era where the seals and gates of magic have been flung wide open, and this knowledge is available to you to create your own practice and for you to be able to. I know a lot of people want community, and I think that a lot of people go into spirituality maybe looking for companionship and community rather than the spiritual work. And it
Yeah.
it's great to have community, but ultimately the community isn't going to be doing the magic for you.
You have to do it yourself.
Mhm.
You have to do the work.
Yeah. And it's humans are imperfect, but who is perfect is the creator, the divine, the goddess. And that's who we're working to talk to anyway.
And I think you you hit a point that I really love. Humans are imperfect.
Yes.
We are living a human existence. We are
Mhm.
spirit in a human body.
Yes, we are.
And what people need to realize is that you're going to falter.
Mhm.
You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have those setbacks. Just keep coming back and keep doing the work. You know, that's all you can do as a human.
Yep. I tell people all the time that we learn from mistakes. That is how humans learn.
Yes.
And unfortunately, oh, hello, kitty cat. And if we cannot reflect on our choices, our actions, and take the knowledge that we learned from that mistake and integrate it into our lives so we don't make the same mistake again, you'll keep making the mistake.
And I think the mistakes are here to teach us.
Yeah, they are. That's exactly it.
We're here to grow. If we were perfect and we knew it all,
We wouldn't be here.
we want to come back. You
Yeah.
know, we're here to learn. We're here to keep growing. So you have to make mistakes.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I was reading a book. So I have a lot to say about shadow work. We're not going to get into that today because
We
that's
do a whole other one about shadow work.
we will do. Yeah.
I talk a lot about shadow work. I am a huge cheerleader for shadow work.
Yeah, and self-reflection,
Yeah, if
absolutely.
you
But
don't do that,
yeah, it's a
growth gets stopped.
yes, it's absolutely necessary part in learning how to do it correctly. Um, if you're really interested in shadow work, you want to read Robert A. Johnson's Owning Your Own Shadow. The most incredible part of that book is section 3, where it's the romantic love as shadow. And that blew my mind because I work with a lot of people who have difficulty in relationships. And what he says is that we put the people that we fall in love with on a pedestal, giving them godlike or divine status. And when that breaks, that illusion breaks, you are left distraught.
Mhm.
And that really blew my mind open because seeing that reflection, people have that problem every day. And how much better could relationships be if we understood that, you know?
That you're falling in love with a person
A
that has
person.
faults, that's going to make mistakes. And I think in that same one, I think a lot of people, I find this myself talking with people, they put parental figures or
Oh, totally.
family figures in that same divine light. And then when they realize that they're a human and they've made mistakes and
Yeah.
their world is shattered.
Yeah, understanding that your parents are also people who that's a hard pill to swallow, and it's
Hmm.
a necessary part of development that some people won't achieve. It's true.
Right.
Some people will never be able to recognize their parents as people. Um, that's too bad. But there are some people who are ready to do that work, and there's some people who aren't.
And that goes back to we make a choice. There's things we're supposed to learn, and maybe that's not what you're learning in this lifetime. Maybe you're learning something else in this lifetime. And we're all, again, we're all coming at it at different levels. There's no good levels or bad levels. It's all what you're just supposed to be learning when you came back.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And that's like, again, if you're interested in working with me, you can check out Pythian Mystery School.
Yes.
Yeah. And let's talk. Let's set up an interview time. Let's figure out where you are, how I can help you. And if you're shy and you don't want to book a meeting, you can DM me on Instagram, but send me in all capital letters empathy so I know what you're looking for.
Well, and I would love to have you back. I
Oh,
mean,
thank
we
you.
could talk, girl. We could talk for hours, just this little bit. I'm like, there's so much more we should talk about.
I
Um,
know. It's an endless supply of topics.
but that's great. I think that's great because people need to hear this.
Yeah.
We've talked. That's why we're doing this. People need to know that there are people on that same path, on that same wavelength, and they're not alone.
No.
And if we can help a little bit, we can help a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the goal is to like I'm here to help you. And that is my role. If you're ready to do it, great. Let's do it.
So you guys definitely we'll be putting links to Ashley's stuff
Thank you.
underneath. And if you are not following us on Instagram, I will definitely be tagging Ashley in some little promos and some little teasers. So you want to go check her out. again, a wealth of knowledge, a wonderful, beautiful person. Thank you
So
so much. I'm glad we finally got to like talk.
I know. I'm so glad we got to connect too. Oh my gosh. Today was crazy.
I felt so bad for you, girl. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, I can't believe this. But I would definitely love to have you back. I think we need to talk about
Yeah.
some more talks about things.
Yeah, I just ordered a new book on shadow work that I need to read. So so when I have all of my literal books, they're short too. They're not crazy long. They're only like 200 pages. So I'll be back.
Yeah, we need to do this because I am big on that. I think it's very, very, very important.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night. As always, thanks for hanging out with us. We know your time is very, very valuable, and we appreciate you taking that time and hanging out with us and listening to our rants and our crazy talks.
Until next time, everybody.
Until next time, blessed be everyone.